The Cross'em Wrestling Entertainment Podcast, presented by Clovercrest Media, is what you AEW fans have been looking for. Noah Cross and Tyler Bard give their take on every week's episode of Dynamite. If you are a massive AEW fan, then it is time to join us every Sunday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Stay Cross'em.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Cross'em Wrestling Entertainment Podcast. Today, I'm your host, Noah Cross. I know, back in the host chair of the show. That's my last name. Odd, I know. But joining me today is Kyle Schrader, Angel Torres. Kyle, how you doing, sir? Good to see you. Dylan, could you? Kyle, I couldn't hear you for a sec. Could you hear him, Dylan?
I couldn't.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Fantastic. Great to see you. And Dylan, how are you, my friend? Good to see you, Dylan Bracho.
I'm good. Glad to be back.
Always exciting, right? I think the last time I saw both of you was for the prediction show, right? We did a prediction show. So we are here back with some AEW action. Just to remind all of our fans here, we're streaming on Facebook, YouTube at Bard and Cross Entertainment, Twitch at TBard5195. Give that a follow. You can also find us anywhere on your favorite podcast platform. And please remember, very important details here. We are not a market substitute for AEW's Dynamite. Please go watch Dynamite live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the TNT Network. And without further ado, what do you guys say we jump into the action here from Wednesday's episode of Dynamite? You good with that?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Fantastic. Our opening contest, I was a little surprised to see Omega open the show with Matt Sydal. I thought that was going to be later in the card, but we had the World Championship Eliminator match between Matt Sydal and Kenny Omega. Matt Sydal defeated Michael Nakazawa to earn the AEW World Championship Eliminator match and suffered a one-winged angel at the hands of Kenny Omega to set up the opening match of Wednesday's broadcast. Omega toyed with Sydal early, overwhelming him and appearing to outmatch him. He worked the arm of his opponent, then delivered a punishing side suplex on the ring apron. The cleaner added a backbreaker to maintain his advantage. Sydal finally built some momentum for himself, rocking Omega with a heel kick and adding a brainbuster for two. He attempted the top rope Hurricane Rana, but the champion shoved him off, leaving his rival to crash and burn. Omega delivered a Snapdragon suplex, followed by a Dragon Screw leg whip, and set up for a V-trigger. Sydal evaded it and delivered his lightning strike for a close. Dramatic near fall. Omega recovered and delivered a power bomb, followed by a knee strike for two. Which, by the way, that last knee strike there, I thought he killed him. I honestly thought he was dead. Omega finally delivered the V-trigger and set up for the one-winged angel, but Sydal countered out. He tried a shooting star press, but Omega crouched him on the top rope. Sydal again countered the one-winged angel, this time into a roll-up for the near fall. The champion escaped, blasted Sydal with a V-trigger, and finally put him away with the one-winged angel. I wasn't sure what to expect with this opening match, to be completely honest. I didn't think I was gonna enjoy it as much as I did. So, Kyle, what'd you think?
I think it's a little bit disrespectful to Matt Sydal and how great he is, man. Matt Sydal's incredible and has been for, my God, like 20 years. Dude's incredible. I'm a big fan of this guy. I love this match. I thought this was a great match. This might have been my match of the entire show. Mm-hmm. I really love this match. It was real, real good.
I agree. It was a good match, and like I said, it surprised me a little. I think I was still in my head at Sydal making his debut and absolutely destroying the entrance there when he botched the shooting star press, and then he did it again. So, Dylan, what do you think of this opening contest?
I'm with Kyle here. I think Matt Sydal is extremely underrated for, he's a veteran that has been hated on a little too much. Great opening match. It's nice to see them not just open with a tag team match every week. And yeah, I agree with Kyle. This might have been match of the night.
Yeah, okay. Like I said, I was pleasantly surprised. And when I saw how good it was, I was also shocked that it wasn't the main event of the show. Because, I mean, Kenny, like, that's your champion.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if it's a championship match or not. If Kenny's on the card, he should be main eventing. That's at least my opinion. Do you agree with that, Kyle?
I think just because the title was on the line and the TNT title's on the line later in the night, I would say that took precedent. That's just me.
Right. Fair. Dylan, what do you think?
Yeah, with the TNT title on the line, that kind of is more important. I know Kenny wasn't defending in this match, so
I think, and that That was probably their deciding factor, right? Was that the TNT championship was actually up for grabs. Kenny's championship wasn't. So that was just their thinking of it's not that important because there's no championship on the line. But if it was, I think all day that would have been the main event. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, absolutely. Next up, we got some more singles action here where we got to see Hangman Page taking on Cezar Bononi. Hangman Page battled former NXT star Cezar Bononi in singles competition next. Bononi had his opponent reeling early, but Page fought back and delivered the buckshot lariat for the convincing victory in an absolute squash of a match. Page enjoyed a cold one at the top of the ramp to close the segment. A pre-tape promo featuring the Murder Hawk Madman Lance Archer was cut at him. Was cut right after, and he cut a promo on Sting. So first, let's talk about the match here. I was like, all right, I guess that's how we're doing this. That's how we're doing Bononi. I don't really have much to say because not much happened. So Dylan, what's your take on this one?
Yeah, it felt like a dark match that, they just were like, we don't got time for it because we put 14 matches on a show. So we'll put it on Dynamite because it's Hangman and he wins.
That's true. Kyle?
Yeah, it was just a simple squash. Nothing really much to it. I didn't expect much out of it. And yeah, it's about all.
Do you think that was just kind of odd, though? Do you think that that's what Bononi is going to be then in AEW? Like, do they
I think eventually we might get to a point where they start building them up a little bit more because of the fact that they have a little bit more now, but they're not really known for having giants in the company. So that might be a thing that happens in the future at some point, but I don't think anytime soon.
Absolutely. All right. I mean, I could agree with it. I could see it. And then Kyle, while you're still going, what did you think of Archer's promo on Sting?
This is the first time I think that he's had like a full promo. Like he's talked before, but not to the extent that he did in this promo. I really like this. I think he should probably be on the mic a little bit more. I thought this was great, and I actually look forward to seeing whatever he decides to do with maybe Sting or Darby or whoever. Yeah,
absolutely. Dylan, what about your take?
Yeah, I agree. I think Lance Archer should be a champion in the near future. And if this is what it leads to is the Darby Allin Lance Archer match where he finally gets one over, I'd be all for it.
I like that too. Maybe some type of match where he has to get through Sting to get to Darby. Like he has to beat Sting, and then if he beats Sting, he gets a championship match. I'd be for it. I'd like that. I'd like that. That'd be a great segment. But yeah, when I did see that Archer was beefing with Darby and with Sting, I was a little excited because that's just great talent that's going to be going up against each other. So I'm very interested to see where that leads, as you guys said. And this card I just feel was sort of quick, it was impactful. It was kind of just one to the next. So there was a lot of matches. And as Tyler and I said last week, we weren't sure what to expect. We didn't think it was going to be great. I think Kyle even agreed that when we saw the card for this week a week ago, we were kind of like, all right, it'd be all right. But
yeah, there were aspects to it that I definitely was into. Like they had the trios match that we're probably going to talk about next. Yeah. That I thought was going to be really good. And then obviously Omega Sydal was excited for, but not much else.
Right.
Absolutely. Our next piece here, we're actually going to talk about the amazingly talented and beautiful Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, who was interviewed by Tony Schiavone. So 1 week after an all-time classic against Thunder Rosa, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, joined Tony Schiavone for an interview. She cut a scathing promo on Thunder Rosa and some of the legends who congratulated her on her performance in the unsanctioned Lights Out match. Baker claimed it took Mick Foley 20 years to become a hardcore legend, something she did in one night. You love it. She turned her attention to Tony Khan, criticizing him for signing legend after legend when he has the biggest legend under his nose in the likes of Britt Baker herself. I'm just gonna clap.
Yeah, I agree.
Britt Baker, she is next level. I've always been a huge fan, as you guys know. I think one question I have here is what's next for Britt Baker? She just had this insanely amazing match with Thunder Rosa. They both killed it. She's clearly now at the top of women's wrestling in some respects, right? What's next for Britt Baker? Where is she going? Kyle?
I don't think she's going right for the title, but I do.
Tyler, stop hating on Britt Baker.
I don't think she's going right for the title. I think there will still be a little bit of time in between. As far as where she goes next, I'm not totally sure because they're doing this whole other thing with Nyla and Ty, and I feel like that's going to be the next challenger. But I don't know. I think we'll see where it goes. But as far as this promo, I think this was her best promo that she's cut in AEW so far.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Dylan.
I think when it comes to AEW, we're going to look at a few factors comparing it to WWE. A lot of things people complain about in WWE is wins and losses and how they don't matter. AEW is one that counts wins and losses, and unfortunately, Britt Baker lost last week. So that's the only thing holding me back from saying she should win the championship, like, next pay-per-view or whatever. Unless she earns a win back over Thunder Rosa, they have like a number one, like, I don't think they're going to go that direction because for some reason they've yet to pull the trigger on it. But that's the only thing holding me back from saying she should win the championship. And she should win the championship. But.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I have to agree with Kyle, unfortunately, a little more. Not that I don't like to agree with Kyle. I'm just saying, unfortunately, that I don't think she's going to be diving right into the championship picture. Because we have a lot lined up already in terms of, like you said, with Nyla Rose, with Conti, with so many things going on in that department. It just doesn't make sense. Right? It doesn't make sense for them to just kind of slot Britt Baker in for no reason. So eventually, yes, she'll lead to that. Right now, in the near future, I don't know. She's going to continue going out there and having great segments. She's going to continue going out there and having great matches. Do I want her to win the championship next week? Absolutely, I do. I think Dylan would. I don't know. Tyler's going to disagree.
Tyler will.
Tyler disagree. Kyle, I mean, if I were to say to you, Britt Baker's going to win the championship next month, what would your process be? Would you care?
I wouldn't be upset about it.
Okay, fair. Tyler would,
Tyler would, and I don't understand why.
Which is why I asked. So
yeah,
and he complains about Shida being champ. So it's like, how would you complain if the title?
I think Shida's great too. I think that whole women's division is pretty great. It's just the handling of it that's the problem.
Yeah,
but I think that's starting to improve though a lot more. So that's for sure. That's good to see.
And a big improvement was simply that match that Baker and Rosa had. Them getting that type of stipulation, that type of time, that type of spot on the show. It was a perfect storm. When you give them the necessary tools, you lead them to the water. They're gonna drink, and they're gonna drink a lot, right? So it was a shock that it was so good, but it was no shock that they were capable of doing that, right? Was the big point I'm trying to make. So, and with absolute amazing performances comes amazing performances from a company we like to call Clovercrest Media. So here's a quick look at a lot of what they're doing right now.
One day, I will get it right one day. Hey, remember how many times you used to do the messages for your voicemail? It goes something like this. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for locking into another episode of I'll Piss You Off Shortly. This is the podcast where we debate everyday issues, pushing your thought process beyond what's normal. The topics discussed here are meant to be intense, promote growth, and at times may have you feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Me too, a little bit. We may not always agree, and we will more than likely have varied opinions. But with that being said, I can't promise to be your favorite podcaster. Neither do I want to. But I can promise to be transparent, fair, and open-minded. So please, if you think you've got the stamina, passion to debate, analyze, and challenge the normal, please take a number. I promise you, I'll piss you off shortly. Hey, mama, I got a podcast. Hey, I got a podcast. Hey, I got a podcast.
The Closing Time Podcast is back, sponsored by Rocky Hill Accountants. I'm Joe Aguirre. I'll have a brand new co-host, Sanam Salati, who's my broker, my mentor, and my good friend, and one of the most knowledgeable people in Connecticut in the entire real estate industry. We're going to be talking about the latest goings-on. We'll keep you up to date on the market, and we're going to bring on some really great guests all throughout this season, people in all different fields in the industry, like accountants, home inspectors, mortgage reps, and so much more, just to give you a better understanding of the Connecticut real estate market. We're so excited for a brand new season of the Closing Time Podcast, part of the CMG Podcast Network. It's sponsored by Rocky Hill Accountants. Go see Heidi and Glenn Parchman to file your taxes for bookkeeping, business advice, real estate investments, or whatever your accounting needs are, including cryptocurrency. Just visit RockyHillAccountants.com. We'll see you all season long on the Closing Time Podcast.
And yes, that's a lot of what's going on over at Clovercrest Media. Make sure you check out that website, clovercrestmedia.com, to see all that they have going on. With that being said, we want to remind you very quickly that we are not a market substitute for AEW's Dynamite. Please go watch Dynamite live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the TNT Network. Always a blast, always fun, and we'd love to see you over there watching every week. So with that being said, we are going to jump back into the action. Kyle, I think I get a little bit of an echo. So here's what we'll do. If you just stay muted until you're ready to talk. Is that
sure?
Lit. Awesome. Thank you, sir. So we have that's much better. Thank you, buddy. The Varsity Blondes and Dante Martin versus the Pinnacle. And we'll see what Kyle's hot take was on this, because I agree it wasn't that incredible. Right? I thought it was going to be amazing. I'm sorry, that was the Varsity Blondes. There's Joe versus the Pinnacle. I think this is the and Dante Martin versus the Pinnacle. Do we have that other image there? I think it's a similar looking group, but we'll jump into it anyway if you can find it. If not, no worries. After their official formation of last week's show, the Pinnacle made their way to the squared circle as FTR and Sean Spears teamed to face the young upstart trio of the Varsity Blondes, Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison, and Top Flight's Dante Martin. MJF, Wardlow, and Tully Blanchard watched from ringside, which I'm just going to say right now, I thought it was really funny that MJF didn't wrestle in this match. Like, he was just standing there at ringside. I'm like, this freaking guy. Like, Kyle, do you want to say anything? Do you want to defend MJF here? Because I'm not going to do it.
I mean, I'm not surprised he didn't wrestle in the match. It doesn't really shock me. I didn't really know what to expect with this match in general, so it is what it is, I guess.
I'll get into more of my opinion on MJF after. The baby faces had their opponents reeling entering the commercial break. Back from it, the pace quickened and Martin shined until he was caught mid-flight and Spears flattened him with the Death Valley driver for a near fall. For the pinfall victory. After the match, Wardlow delivered a cheap shot to Pillman as the Pinnacle filled the ring. Tony Schiavone joined them for a promo. That was ballsy on his part. FTR spoke first before MJF ran down the inner circle, cracked a joke at Chris Jericho's expense, and promised a surprise for his teammates next week because, boys, when you're in the Pinnacle, you're always on top, as MJF would like to say. A quick video package aired in which Taz insisted everything was fine within Team Taz, going as far as to say Brian Cage apologized to everyone for stepping out of line the week before. The FTW champion appeared to be taken aback by Taz's comments, but fell in line to close out the quick vignette. Next, Schiavone was joined by QT Marshall, who took exception to insinuations that all of his success is due to being friends with Cody Rhodes. When he is in the one who has been doing all the work for him behind the scenes in the very beginning of AEW and missing out on time with his wife. So lots of tensions going on in a few different groups here. He issued a challenge for an exhibition match against Rhodes for next week. We'll get into our predictions later, who emerged from the tunnel and accepted, but not before vowing never to hurt his friend. So first, let's jump into this match here. Dylan, what did you think of the match where we saw the Varsity Blondes and Dante Martin take on the Pinnacle?
I wasn't looking at this to be a 5-star match. I was excited to see how the teamwork would work with the Pinnacle. I think they have chemistry. I think it's a phenomenal group, and we're going to watch this probably like the Undisputed Era did. Might win all the gold here because they're all talented.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm excited to see where the Pinnacle goes week in, week out.
For sure. Kyle, what do you think of this match, sir?
I think it was mostly kind of similar to how the Page match was, except Top Flight, Darius Martin and Varsity Blondes just got a little bit more offense in. I don't know if I necessarily agree with them getting all the gold, but I do definitely see, I think at the very least, FTR probably getting the tag titles back at some point in the future.
I could totally see that.
But I'm definitely into the group as a whole. Everyone in there is great, and I look forward to seeing where they go next.
Absolutely. I'm very excited to see Sean Spears back doing something again. That's exciting for me.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I told you, my big gripe was with MJF standing at ringside. He's, if you ask me, he's the ringleader, right? He's supposed to be the guy who's putting it all there. If Jericho was there, he'd have been in a ring. I don't know if I could say he would be standing ringside while he let all of his guys fight. Listen, Jericho's been wrestling for a long time. If he's going to take a break, he deserves it. Okay, MJF is supposed to be the next great thing, if you ask him. And I didn't like. It was funny because after the match, he just walks in with his scarf on and his suit, and he just starts talking, and I'm like, this dude didn't even wrestle in a match. Anyone going to defend MJF here?
I'm going to defend him because I'm a Sean Spears guy, and anytime I can see Sean Spears on TV, I'm all for it. And he's wrestling, I'll take that. MJF's proven himself. He's a top guy. He doesn't need to be in the ring with, 3 guys that aren't proven yet, and, Varsity Blonde's Dante Martin. I would love to see Sean Spears wrestle more. He had one of the best records last year, and he should be wrestling more on a weekend basis.
I feel like I'm talking to Tyler.
Okay.
Just defending MJF tooth and nail. Could never do any wrong.
What did MJF do wrong in not wrestling in a match?
He didn't wrestle in this match. He's supposed to be this big deal. Do it. And also, I'm going to still stay on the gripe that I have of if MJF is supposed to be this guy, why does he need all these factions? First, he was begging to be in the inner circle when he was there, and now he's in the Pinnacle because he doesn't have the inner circle anymore. I keep saying, do it on your own. Do it on your own. Do it. Chris Jericho did it. Chris Jericho didn't show up and was immediately, here we go.
That's
here we
a good
go.
point.
There's Tyler now. All right. You know what, Tyler? You're not he's not on the show. So, you know what? He's not on the show. So, anywho, we're going to jump into our...
Let's not forget how young he is, too. He says it.
He's got time. He's good.
Fine.
So much time to prove himself.
Okay. Fine. We'll see. MJF, prove me wrong. Please, prove me wrong. But I want to see you just do it on your own. I want you to go out there as a singles competitor, maybe even have Wardlow over your shoulder, and that'd be fine. But with that being said, let's jump into the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler versus the Lucha Bros and Laredo Kid. That match was pretty good. I thought the Lucha Bros really did a good job here. There was a lot of flippy shit, as a few of my friends would say. That was great. I mean, it's just a lot of talent in the ring. The finish to me was a little weird, but we'll get to that. AW Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, teamed with lifelong friend Brandon Cutler for a 6-man tag team match with familiar foes Lucha Bros and debuting Laredo Kid. Nick Jackson paired off with Ray Phoenix. Matt Jackson squared off with Penta El Zero M, and Cutler fought Laredo Kid early in the contest. Penta earned the first advantage for the masked trio, wiping the opposition out with a planchada. The Bucks answered with an homage to Impact's Motor City Machine Guns for a near fall. The tag team champion seized control of the bout heading into the break. Back from the break, Penta delivered a sling blade to Matt and joined Phoenix's stereo super kicks to the Bucks. Phoenix delivered the Senton Atomico to Nick and went for a cutter. Nick countered and delivered a knee strike in the corner. From there, he turned Phoenix inside out with a lariat. Inside out was the way to go. I jumped off the couch about 2 times in this match. Like I was actually, which is good. Like I was excited watching it. The champs set their sights on Laredo Kid, delivering risky business. Cutler added a springboard elbow on Kid for the 2 count. The action broke down, and Nick delivered an Escalaria to Penta. Matt added a DDT on the apron to Phoenix. Back inside the ring, Laredo Kid delivered a top rope Spanish fly to Cutler for the pinfall victory. That was the part that I was just like, that's how this is going to end? A Spanish fly? Like, Kyle, is that usually Laredo Kid's finish?
Oh, yeah.
The Spanish fly? All right, I guess so. I don't know. I just thought there was a lot of hard-hitting action in the match, and it sort of ended with that. And I was like, oh, like that's like a move that happens in WWE, and it's like a 1.5, and the guy kicks out. But that's whatever. I don't know. After the match, Kenny Omega attacked Kid, beating him down before grabbing a mic. He asked the Bucks about their long history together before demanding they throw up the Too Sweet one last time. Oh, I wish I could be sad about it, but I wasn't. The Bucks left, and Penta and Phoenix rocked Omega with a super kick, and the Good Brothers hit the ring to check on their leader to close the segment. So lots of super kicks, lots going on. This is now like the 3rd group or batch of friends that are having some sort of falling out on the episode. So Dylan, what's going on here in this bout here? With first off, give me your take on the match. What'd you think?
Match was great. I'm not really well known to Laredo Kid, and I was kind of surprised he was in this match. But he was a good addition. He opened my eyes that he's very talented, and he honestly could be on Dynamite every week, and I probably wouldn't mind. Brandon Cutler showed me stuff too, where I was like, I don't really watch Dark, so I don't see what he does. He put himself out there and looked good. The Young Bucks losing every week, it's starting to look like they have a real threat for the titles. I'm happy with how this match went.
Okay, fair. Kyle.
I agree. I thought the match was really, really great. All 6 guys are super talented. I would love to see Laredo Kid on Dynamite more often if they can get him here. I know that's kind of a little more difficult at the moment, but he's supposed to be on next week, so I'm pretty hype about that as well.
Yes, for sure.
Definitely excited that Brandon Cutler got a little bit of time to shine too, because he honestly is very good, but no one really gets to see it. So I was pretty hype about that. That's really cool. And I appreciate the fact of how the match actually did finish, because it protected both the Bucks and Lucha Bros as well by Laredo pinning Cutler. I like this match overall. I thought it was great.
Absolutely. It was a great match. I agree. There's a lot of good action, I like quick pace, right? Like quick pace matches are always fun. How do you not like guys flipping around all over the place and doing crazy things? Even the Bucks took some crazy bumps. When I think it was Matt who did the sort of senton onto Penta outside the ring and folded in half the wrong way. That was just like, ugh, like it looked like it hurt, but it was fun to watch. I mean, I enjoyed it. I didn't feel any pain, so it was no pain, no gain, right? But it was a good time. Always enjoy seeing what's going on there. And where do we think things are heading with Kenny and the Bucks? I mean, is this it? Is this really it? Are the Bucks and Kenny no longer ever going to work together? Are they no longer going to team together? I mean, is their friendship sort of fizzled? I mean, you think about it this way: they built what AEW is together, right? But from what it seems right now, they're not on the same page at all. So, Kyle, what are you thinking?
Overall, I'm really, really into everything Kenny's doing, from Dynamite to Impact to whatever. Like, I'm all into whatever he does. As far as what's going on with him and the Bucks, I kind of feel that they're probably done for now. Though I think there's probably a match coming in the near future. I don't know who would be involved in this match, but it'll probably be like Good Brothers and Omega versus Bucks and some other person. I don't know. But I think that'll probably come in the near future. Maybe one of the next few pay-per-views or so.
Okay. I like that. I mean, I just can't, I agree with, I can't really see the Bucks and Kenny not actually being together, but who knows? Dylan, what do you think, sir?
It's tough seeing them separate. I mean, I'm a fan of all of them, and I liked them together. Possibility that the Young Bucks turn heel and end up rejoining Kenny in the future. I don't know. But maybe I don't see that happening anytime soon. I think they're probably going to be separated for a little bit, and we will see in the future the Good Brothers face the Young Bucks at some point.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. That sounds like a great match.
Yeah.
I agree. I can't see them never teaming again, as Kyle said, right? Just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, right.
But for right now, they're beefing. For right now, they're not on the same page. Kenny doesn't like the decisions the Bucks are making, and the Bucks don't like the decisions Kenny's making, right? Forming with Don Callis and all these other things he's doing. So we'll just have to wait and see what is in store. But Dylan, I could totally see some type of Good Brothers versus Young Bucks match happening very soon. That sounds like something that we're leading to. So good take on that front. And next up, we have some women's action here, as we saw Taya Conti take on Nyla Rose. Up to Wednesday's show, Tay Conti has been unsuccessful in her attempt to defeat Nyla Rose in singles competition, including a loss in the Women's Championship Eliminator Tournament. Things weren't any better early this week as Rose ran her over, sending her flying across the ring. The native beast and former AEW Women's Champion punished her opponent, hanging her over the top rope and catching her with a knee drop from the top rope. She grounded the jiu-jitsu black belt, punishing her in the ropes and securing the victory. Back from the break, Rose attempted a somersault senton, but Conti got her knees up. The babyface set up for the hammerlock DDT, but Rose powered out. She rocked the former champ with a pump kick, but Rose flattened her with the clothesline. Conti escaped the beast bomb and targeted the knee of her opponent. She rocked Rose with a series of kicks and delivered the DDT for the win. I was surprised that she won this match. Anybody else? Was I by myself here?
No. I wasn't surprised at all, purely for the fact that when she came out, I'm almost positive they said she's actually the number one ranked female in the entire division. And I got a rep her here, man. I love Tay Conti. I have for pretty much since she first debuted. I thought she was incredible when the Mae Young Classic happened, all that stuff. I think she's great. Not that I think she's winning the title this year, but I think she'll be a legitimate contender within the next couple months, and I want to see her on TV more. she's great. I think she's awesome, and I'm happy she won here. I'm happy she got a chance to actually shine and look really good in this.
Absolutely. And I agree 100%. It's great to see her really just picking up and doing what she did. And I was pleasantly surprised that she won. Dylan, did you have the same reaction? Were you surprised? Or were you with Kyle here where you were going for her and she won? Great. She should have.
Right. I am with Kyle because I was surprised when I saw the graphic say she was #1 contender for the title. I missed that somehow, that she's the top ranked women's wrestler in AEW. So by that point, I was like, all right, it makes sense that she wins. But at the same time, Nyla Rose is somebody who's going to be a main eventer for the women for a long time, at least, it seems. So I thought it was a good way for Tay-Conti to look, strong and go into a match with Shida. But I eventually will say Shida's going to retain.
Okay. Fair. As I don't ever pick against
Shida. Right,
Shida,
I can't anymore. So
unless it's Britt Baker. Then I don't know what I'm going to do.
Right.
But when that time comes, we'll get there. This leads us into our main event of the Tay is one of the best, as Tyler says it right there in the chat.
You damn right.
Putting it in there. They agree. I agree. She is one of the best, but not as good as Britt Baker. But we're gonna do it. Who is? So with that being said, we'll hop into our main event action here. Damn it. See, now you could tell everyone who's producing the show now, because before it was Mr. Joe Aguirre, but now Tyler's back producing. So here we go. This ought to be good. Our main event of the evening, where we saw the TNT Championship on the line and Darby Allin challenging John Silver. The Dark Order's John Silver, or as Tyler would say, Johnny Hungy, challenged TNT champion Darby Allin in the night's main event, a tribute match of sorts to the late Brody Lee. Johnny was... I'm not saying it. Johnny was diving... okay, Tyler wants me to say Johnny was hungy early, dodging a dive by Allin that saw the champion crash to the floor heading into the break, and the challenger slammed Allin into the corner with his... strength advantage being Tyler, with his strength advantage being a difference early and often. Let me bring it back together so I can get this read. Back from the final commercial of the night, Silver charged at Allin but missed and crashed to the floor. The champion returned to the ring before delivering a two-base Sudacita. Allin 5 Angels shoved Silver out of the way and ate the dive himself. When I saw that, I was like, Silver honestly looked a little bit banged up there, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Sting made his way to the ringside apron, keeping Dark Order at bay while the competitors did battle back inside the squared circle. The champion tried the slingshot stunner, but Silver applied the Queenslayer submission typically utilized by Anna Jay. Allin kicked out, but again found himself on the receiving end of Silver's strength. A series of strikes ensued, with the champion daring his challenger to hit him. Silver did and scored a near fall of a roll-up. Allin answered with a springboard coffin drop. The fight headed to the ropes, where Allin dropped Silver to the mat and teased the coffin drop. Instead, he delivered the move to the Dark Order outside the squared circle. Back up top, however, Silver met Allin and brought him down to the mat. Allin's foot on the ropes, robbing him of the win. That was all on Allin, by the way. On Silver, by the way, of Allin's feet hitting the ropes in that last pinfall there, or him trying to get the W. Like, he rolled and Allin's feet landed on the ropes. Like, I was like, that's on you, Hungy, right? Silver teased Lee's powerbomb, but Allin countered into the code red for the win. After the match, Sting and Allin showed Silver respect until the Hardy family office attacked. A brawl with the Dark Order ensued, and Allin and Sting joined in. Tay-Conti came from out of nowhere to wipe out the bunny as chaos reigned and the show went off the air. Tyler says Silver was incredibly impressive in this match. He gives it 4.5 stars. That is very generous. Kyle, what do you think of this contest? Do you agree with Tyler?
I don't disagree that Silver looked good in this. I thought Silver looked great in this. Mm-hmm. I thought they both looked great in this. I do have one thing that kind of bothered me, and it was more so Sting, where they were talking about how Sting would come out if someone was actually genuinely doing something. What were Dark Order doing? I don't think Dark Order were doing anything. What made him walk out and decide, I'm gonna need to break this up real quick? They were just there. They were just chilling.
Mm-hmm. It's funny you to say that, because I didn't think about that while I was watching, because Sting just kind of came out and I was just kind of like, that was just Tyler. Sting looks so dumb.
Yeah,
I was just expecting it though. Like, at this point, if Darby's in the ring, Sting is gonna come out at some point.
I would have expected it if Dark Order did something, but they
That's
didn't do
fair.
anything. There was no reason.
They didn't. Yep.
But overall, I did dig the match. I thought the match was cool. You brought up that pin earlier. I liked that. It was him more trying to get more leverage on the pin, and he just didn't realize how close to the ropes he was. Little things like that I think are cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I like this match overall. It was really cool.
For sure. Dylan.
Yeah, on Sting, I think it was weird because it's like, is Dark Order supposed to look like heels being the group out there and Sting's the face coming to be the hero? Or, like, I don't know. I thought it was two faces going at it at the time. The match was great. I think John Silver is phenomenal. I honestly, like, there was moments where I thought John Silver almost won this match, and I was like, it's possible?
Yeah.
I'm happy. It was a good match.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree. I mean, it was a good match. I always love seeing Darby Allin in the ring. There were a couple spots that I already talked about where, his legs hitting the ropes and whatever else. And obviously we all agreed that Sting being there was just looked kind of odd. Like, he just kind of stood there. It was almost like Gramps watching his son in his wrestling match, Always a blast. Always a blast. So Tyler, I think Tyler said he had a video of some sorts he wanted to play.
Damn good leader. Okay. All right. We're still doing okay. Oh, wow. Where did this Mr. Beast come from? Dodge. All right, Drew. Oh
my God. Sniped. Absolutely sniped, bro. Absolutely sniped.
And that is just Tyler there on his Twitch page, TBard5195. As you saw, you can always come by, have some fun on Fall Guys, watch him play Fall Guys. It's always a blast. And you never know what's going to happen. Kind of like wrestling. You never know what's going to happen. And speaking of not knowing what's going to happen, Kyle, can you fill us in on what happened with John Silver on Wednesday night? Because I think I heard some news that he did suffer an injury of some sort. Am I correct to say that?
Yes. I'm vaguely aware of it, but not totally. But I did hear about it. I think he did say something along the lines of he doesn't need surgery, so it's not super serious. I do think it's like 4 to 6 weeks, so shouldn't be too bad. He'll be back in like around a month or so.
Yeah, okay, that's good to hear then, because I did hear he was injured. I didn't know the extent of it, but obviously all the best to Johnny Hungy, as Tyler would say. So I'm gonna make him start saying that on Twitch. Johnny Hungy. We need a Johnny Hungy emote, Tyler.
Yeah,
hell yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Tell Drew to get on that. I need a Johnny Hungy emote. There we go. And that leads us into our preview of. Actually, hold on. Before we do that, as the marquee wrestling fans that we are, what would you give this night out of 5, Dylan?
I'll be generous because there was kind of good amount of squash matches type feels. I'll say 3.8.
Okay.
Out of 5.
Kyle.
Give it like a 3.5.
I'll give it a solid 4. Because it surprised me. Because last week I said it wasn't going to be this good, and I liked it a lot, especially the Kenny match. That was great. So that leads us to our preview of next week. Starting off hot and heavy, we have Christian Cage making his debut match against Frankie Kazarian. Oh my gosh, this is going to be great. Next up, we have QT Marshall versus Cody Rhodes with Arn Anderson as a special guest referee. What could possibly go wrong with that, right? That just sounds great. Miro and Kip Sabian will be taking on Orange Cassidy and Chucky T in an Arcade Anarchy match, whatever that's going to be. Looking forward to it. We'll see Hikaru Shida and Taya Conti take on Nyla Rose, and the Bunny. Could Taya Conti turn on Shida and try and cement herself as a number 1 contender? Who knows what's going to happen? And the main event of this night is going to be Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers versus the Lucha Bros and Laredo Kid. Good Lord, that's going to be great. Looking forward to it. Always exciting stuff happening on Dynamite. And please remember, last and not least, we are not a market substitute for AEW's Dynamite. Please go watch Dynamite live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on TNT Network. And if you love podcasts, make sure you visit clovercrestmedia.com for a wide selection of great shows covering sports, business, relationships, pop culture, politics, and true crime. There are 26 shows in the hashtag CMG Network. If you don't find one that you like, you can start one of your own. We can help you launch your podcast for as little as $15 per month. ClovercrestMedia.com is the site to visit. Make sure you check it out and tell your friends all about it. You can visit ClovercrestMedia.com and click on the link for the latest on your favorite CMG Sports podcasts, as well as blogs, videos, and latest information. And with that being said, I was joined today by Dylan Bracha, Kyle Straight Edge Torres. Thank you guys so much for coming out when Tyler couldn't make it. Tyler joined us in the chat for the last few minutes of this stream, so we're excited to see that as always. Check out T-Bard5195. I don't know when he'll be streaming again. Maybe tonight. Who knows? We'll see. But with that being said, I'm Noah Cross. Great to be back in the host seat for one more time. And this was Crossum Wrestling Entertainment.
You're listening to the Crossum Wrestling Entertainment Podcast.